Manga-Waido.
I am Haruna Kimura. I'm a sophomore at university. Recently, a cram school opened up in my neighborhood and started looking for a part-time office worker. I was interested, so I applied, and they hired me. And I started working this month. This wide seminar is a medium-sized cram school with several classrooms in the prefecture. This newly established manga school also had many students, even though it had just been established. The classroom staff consisted mainly of employees drawn from other classrooms.
Kimura, I heard you were a student at Wide University.
Yes, I am.
All the students there are excellent, so I can rest assured. I have high expectations for you.
I'll do my best, thank you. It was Mr. Karasuma, the head of the class, who approached me. Mr. Karasuma is also an excellent instructor who has created original teaching materials and implemented new teaching methods, which has led to a dramatic increase in student performance. He was selected as the head of the school in recognition of his achievements at such a young age.
Kimura, nice to meet you. Don't be nervous.
Yes, Mr. Nikota. Nice to meet you. My instructor is his uncle named Mr. Nikota. Mr. Nikota has been an instructor since the school's inception, but I heard that he had to leave the field for a while due to illness. He returned to the field when this manhwa classroom was built. I'm basically stationed in the staff room, copying prints and taking phone calls as requested by teachers. I'm also in charge of creating information for parents, sending out DMs, and grading answer sheets. Mr. Nikota also does most of the behind-the-scenes work, such as clerical work and sometimes consulting with students. But sometimes he also took over lectures when other teachers were absent. Hi, Mr. Nikota. I heard laughter coming from the classroom just now.
The kids spoke up, and it was a lot of fun.
It's not that lively when it's the other teachers. Mr. Nikota's class is so much fun, isn't it?
Oh, no, I'm just...
Nika-sensei, goodbye! Nika-sensei, teach the class again! Mr. Nikota was called Nika-sensei and loved by his students. The things Nika-sensei taught me showed up on the test!
Did you solve it?
Yeah, perfectly! I got 100!
That's great! Good job!
Nika-sensei, come to the study hall again and teach me how to study!
Yeah, of course.
I guess kids like sincere and kind people after all. Mr. Nikota was adored not only by her students, but also by other employees. But Mr. Karasuma, the head of the class, seemed to be different.
Man, I don't want an old man like Nekota. You think so too, don't you? No, Damn, he should just quit.
How can the head of the class talk like that? After some observation, Mr. Karasuma seems to be the type of person who takes out his stress on other people after picking a target. He would say behind Mr. Nikota, who is working on his computer, "You're not worth anything. Your way of doing things is old-fashioned," so he could hear. And when Mr. Nikota came back from talking to a student in the study room, he would say things like, "Stop chatting. This is not a daycare center." Mr. Nikota apologized politely each time, which made me feel uncomfortable. But kids are honest. Compared to the students who adore Mr. Nikota and come to him for advice, Mr. Karasuma's popularity is nowhere near as high. Then, Mr. Karasuma...
Mr. Nekota, didn't I tell you earlier not to waste your time talking to children? I'm sorry about that, but I can't just ignore them. You don't get good grades by getting along with them. We have to keep a good distance from the students. This is not a park. But that's enough. I'd like you to stay out of the students' presence. This is an order from me as the head of the school.
And so, Nikota-san was forbidden to go to the classroom or study room.
Thank you for your hard work. I guess today's work is over for now.
Yes. Mr. Nikota, are you alright?
Thanks. You are a kind person, Kimura. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
Despite saying that, he still seemed to be in low spirits. I'm sure he's feeling down because he can't get in touch with the kids. Mr. Nikota often sits in front of the computer for long periods of time and doesn't move, as if he's dozing off. Mr. Nikota looks bored. Yes. You should be teaching at the study hall.
It's fine. Let him do nothing but copying and grading.
He looks like he's slacking off.
That's right. Old men who just want to get along with their students should just sit by the window and be quiet.
I was so annoyed by this attitude. Ugh, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to have to gather evidence and report it to headquarters. One day, when I was beginning to think like that, a large quantity of text arrived from the vendor.
You two, carry these in.
Oh, yes.
Kimura, you take care of the smaller box over there.
As instructed, it was when Mr. Nakota and I were carrying the cardboard boxes.
All right.
Mr. Nakota hurt his back. After that, the doctor told him to rest and he had to take a break for a while. Oh, I should have carried it alone. It was my fault. Don't worry about it. You can't blame yourself for this one.
That's right. It's not your fault. I'm rather grateful to you for getting rid of that guy.
What?
I'm so glad Nekota's gone. I think we should terminate Nekota's contract and hire a young college girl.
All the employees who were listening to this were speechless. After this one incident, we discussed it with the employees who had a good heart and decided to discuss Mr. Karasuma's attitude with the head office. But things moved on without us having to make a move. A few days after Mr. Nakota went into recovery, I went to work as usual. The phone rang in the staff room, and employees were frantically responding to it. Sounds like a complaint call. Is something wrong? It's about Mr. Nakota. At that moment, several women rushed into the staff room. Is it true that you're terminated Neko-sensei's contract? What? We can't lose Mr. Nakota. Call the head of the school. Yes, right away. I hurriedly led the women to the reception area and listened as everyone else was busy on the phone. Then, thanks to Mr. Nakota, my child is now enjoying learning. I moved my child to this classroom because Nico-sensei was assigned to it. Don't you know about Mr. Nakota's advice on entrance exams? It's very useful. Please bring back Mr. Nakota. Apparently, Mr. Nakota not only has outstanding teaching habits, but he also consulted with parents privately via email and gave them advice on entrance exams. A parent who engaged emails with Mr. Nakota a long time ago shared his email address, and now many parents were asking him for advice. Mr. Karasuma didn't know about this and is just upset. And then... Is something wrong? I turned around and saw a woman who looked like a successful woman. Kimono branch manager! Nice timing.
Actually...
This person is the most important person in the department that oversees this area, and her name is Miss Kumino. She was originally scheduled to visit today. When the employee explained the situation, the branch manager went into the reception area without hesitation. Everyone, I apologize for the worries.
Branch Manager Kumano...
Don't worry, Nakota is just in recovery and is not quitting. Oh, really? He's not quitting? Nakota-sensei is staying. Yes, he will be back as soon as his back is healed. Mr. Karasuma, please apologize for the trouble you've caused.
Yes. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. The women left, looking relieved. That settled the matter. Oh, not quite. What is this all about? The parent said, my child heard the headmaster say that he was going to have Mr. Nakota quit.
That's a misunderstanding. Yes, there were times when I felt annoyed with Mr. Nekota for just sitting there, but I was just joking about making him quit.
Sitting around? Don't you realize how much Mr. Nakota has contributed to this school?
What?
It is not an exaggeration to say that he is the reason for our success. According to Kumuro branch manager, Mr. Nakota has always been close to the people in charge of private schools and knows the trends and countermeasures of each school very well. The reason why private school representatives frequently came to our school for information sessions is because of Mr. Nakota's connections. Mr. Nikota also analyzed entrance exam questions and compiled a list of trends, as well as interview question trends and model answers. What? That top secret file was made by Mr. Nikota?
No way! I thought they were made by the elite of the intelligence department!
I knew you didn't understand how great Mr. Nikota was. While he was recovering from his illness, he was working from home, compiling information and updating files as needed. After he retires, he has also prepared handover documents that summarize his know-how to ensure the smooth operation of our business. It was at this time when we were all surprised to learn the truth.
Thank you for your hard work. What are you all doing here? I went to the hospital, and they said I could go to work now, so I came.
When I told him what had happened...
I see. The parents. I'm very grateful.
This is not the time to be so casual, Mr. Nikota. Why didn't you tell the head of the class about the work you were doing?
Duties?
You're the one who's doing all the research on the question trends, interview trends, and countermeasures.
I originally created those on my own for the benefit of my students. It seems to have been helpful, though I didn't think it was worth mentioning. But I'm sorry if I caused trouble because I didn't tell you. From now on, I'll report when I've updated the files properly.
Everyone was taken aback by Mr. Nikota's smiling face. After that, the branch manager decided that there was a problem with Mr. Karasuma, the head of the class, and all employees were interviewed. I reported Mr. Karasuma's outburst. I also submitted evidence that was recorded. Additional investigation revealed that the teaching materials that Mr. Karasuma once used, which he had claimed to have made by himself, were taken from other cram schools. It was also discovered that the teaching method that Mr. Karasuma was touting as a revolutionary teaching method was actually very similar to the study channel videos. The bullying of Mr. Nikota was also added to the above, and Mr. Karasuma was transferred to a new position. In the end, it seemed that he couldn't stand the cold stares he received at his new workplace, and he quit a few months later. I heard Mr. Karasuma tried to reapply for a job at another cram school, but word has already spread around the industry. It sounds like a tough time, but it was all self-inflicted. After that, our classroom got a new female head of the school. The new head of the classroom knew Mr. Nikota's abilities well, and she let Mr. Nikota return to the study hall as an instructor. I've been thinking about applying for a permanent position here, as I'm beginning to find tutoring jobs appealing. Mr. Nikota seems to be having a lot of fun being involved with children again. I should do my best to become a reliable instructor like Mr. Nikota.